Hello, welcome to this new tutorial on Java. So today we are going to talk about equals method. You might have seen during your programming or during other assignments, you might have used this equals method. And what's the purpose? What's the difference between this equals method versus this equal? And there are different equals methods. So if you go into the object class, it also has the equals method. And there's a string class. This also has a equals methods, but they don't behave exactly same. So we're just going to go through all the different uh, scenarios and see how they differ from each other and which one we should use. So let's do first with the string. So as I'm going to declare just a string here, and I'm just going to put some name here. Let's say Mike. So this is string 1. I'm going to take string 2 and say Mike. And in my previous videos I mentioned if you declare a string like this, it's called a literal string literal. And if both the strings they have the same values, then this is stored in the string. There's a string literal pool. These are stored there, and they are stored in the same place. Basically, you only store one. You only store Mike, and and it will tell s1 and s2, they both refer to this Mike actually. So basically they're equal. So if you do, like, let's say I'm going to just put little equal statement here, s1 not equals s2 equal to, so you can just say here s1 dot equals s2. So we are doing this equal, so because they both point to the same reference, they have the same referring to the same memory variable where with both of the just stored, so it should just return true. Okay, so it return the result true here. Now let's take another example. I'm going to make another variable called string 3, and I'm going to create another string, but I'm not going to create this in the string pool. So it's not a string literal, but it's in a string object. So this object is stored in a Java heap actually. So let's say we want to call it, let's say, car. I just call this string car, and let's say do another one s4 here equal to and new string car. And you can see this, although they're not stored in the same place, so they're not stored, so these are two really different strings and they're stored in two different locations in the memory. But if we compare them, s3 and this s4, you will notice that this should also return true, because this is s4 not s3. I'm just going to save it. Okay, so this also returns true because string has an equals method which is really overridden. This is override method. This method has been overridden from the, we will discuss about the equals method in object class, but this is overridden. So what it does, it compares the contents of the string. It doesn't compare the location where they're stored, but it compares the content of the string and it says equal. They're both of equal. Okay, now let's say we have I'm going to take another example. So I only have a class created here, person class. So I just created this class beforehand, this person class, and you can see this person class has two attributes. One is name and another is called age. So there are two classes, there are two attributes. So I'm going to create here person p1 and say new person, and let's say we call this person Mike, and let's say the age is 20, and I'm going to call p2 to new person, and it's the same Mike 20. Now remember, pay attention, this is a new string, so string is a different class. Here we have a different object which is a person, and if I call the equals method, so this is really a p1 equal to p2, p1, p2. So now we have person 1, person 2, and we know that these are two different objects. They're stored in two different locations in the memory, and but the content is same. They have the same content, and we would think, yeah, this would return really true because their content of those both objects is same, but it's going to return false. Yeah, it returns false. Why? Because this method equals method is coming from, if I click on this one, it will come from the object class. You see, this is object class, and you see how the equal method looks like here. Is trying to use this equal operator, and we know that equal operator is used to check the memory, compare the memory location of two objects, and we know that both of these objects are not stored in the same place. They are stored in a different memory locations. Just to test this one, let's say we have a p3 and p3 I want to make it p1. Let's say I'm saying copy p1 into p3. Now p3 and p1 point to the same memory location. So let's see, and if we do this thing, p1 equals to p3, and let me clear out this here, save it, and now this should return true actually. Yeah, see, it returns true because what I did, I just say I create a new object p3, but I just assign this p1 to p3, so it means p1 and p3 are really in the same memory location. So that's why it's like this. So okay, so let's get rid of this one. We don't need this one here. I will example. So here's the thing now. So we were expecting this to be equal, but it's not equal because these are not stored in the same memory location, and you know that this equals method is not very helpful. It only helps when they are stored at the same location. But what if you want to compare these two objects, if they're equal or not? How can you do that? Because they have the same content, you want to really return true. So what you can do is you can override the equals method actually. So what you can do here is let's say public, I think it's called boolean. Yeah, so let me look at the format of this method. Yeah, it's like boolean. So I'm going to just override. So what you can do is you can go to person object and you can just override this method actually, and here you can do whatever you want to do. So okay, return, yeah, we will return that later. So we just put here, but I think the point is, so what happened now? So we're trying to compare, so we are trying to override this method. So this is the class, this class, and we want to compare it with this one. So we can do, if this class dot, let's say, name equals object dot name, okay, there's the main method, the name gone. Oh sorry, this is not a string, this is a person object, that's why I can't see the name here. So I want to see name here. So this is name. If this equal to name and this dot age equal to object dot age, if that's the case, then I want to return true. In all other cases I want to return false. So if you notice what I did here, I just override this method. We know that this method is also in the object class, which is a superclass of this person, but we override this and we have our own implementation here actually. So we said if this class name equal to this object's name and this class age equal to object's age, then we return true. So if I go here now and try to run it, you see p1 dot equals p2. It worked. And if I change to, let's say I will change to 30, and now we know that they are not equal because the contents are not equal, and you see now it returns false. But you have the full control. Let's say you only want to compare the names and you don't care about anything else, and we say if this dot name equal to this one, true. Now if I go again here, the name is same but the age is not same, but it still should return you true, because we make our own equals method actually. So so that's the way actually this equals method works. So that's very important to understand how the equal method behaves. So in the object, which is the parent or superclass of all the classes you create, the equals method just checks for the reference. So if you remember, it checks for if you do something like p1 equal to p2, this simply means are these objects referring to the same memory location, and we know that they are not, because they are different. If you do this equal operator, it compares the memory location where these objects are stored. But if you use this equals method, it compares the contents. But you have to be careful when you do it on objects. In the objects, you have to make sure you override the equals method. So that's all for today's video. I hope you like it. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and see you in the next video.